Okay, we are back. So, um, we have our big crowd scene here. Um, for those of you who are new to this particular video series, I'm working on a little short film called But You Are My Friends, and it is a story about these four kids that you see on the screen. And it's a cute little short. And so, in the last several days, I've been working on um, introductory shots for each of the characters, which were just recently completed. Now we're into the first scene in the body of the film, and so that's what this scene is here. And it's a scene where the characters kind of jump in to frame and they hug each other. And so I'm sort of working on how I'm going to do that. Um, I'm using Rough Animator, once again, for people who are brand new to all of this. Rough Animator is a very um, user-friendly, in my opinion, intuitive animation program, which is also very an inexpensive program to buy. If you are an animator and you want to do your own animated films, I would highly recommend that you get this program. This version of it is um, this version is used could be used on your iPad if you have an iPad. This version also can be used on a desktop computer, which is what I'm using right now. And so it's a pretty cool setup, and you know, works pretty well for me. So if you're interested in purchasing a desktop version of this, it'll cost you $10. And the nice thing about Rough Animator is you can buy it. You don't have to pay a subscription fee, which is really nice these days, where sadly a lot of animation programs or storyboarding programs have a tendency of having some type of a subscription fee. I don't, you end up having to pay something every month for this particular program. Doesn't isn't like that. You can buy it outright for $10, $5 actually if you're doing it on your iPad. So so it's definitely a very user friendly and intuitive um, program. So I can't say enough good things about it. I've been using it for quite a while. I have both the iPad version of it, but I also have um, the desktop, and that's what this is that I'm using right now is the desktop version. Um, it's a program that was created by an independent animator, I believe, um, which explains a lot. That's probably the reason why it's such a reasonably priced program, and it also explains probably why it also is easy to use. You know, artists creating stuff for other artists is, of course, the most sensible, the most sensible way to do anything. Because we understand one another. So there you go. All right. So anyhow, and they are updates that are made for Rough Animator, if you're wondering. So they will do updates on it. I get updates on it all the time. They deal with problems that the software has, and they are constantly um, improving and little things, fixing bugs in the program. So not to worry there. Just because it's created by an animator or an artist doesn't mean that it's not going to be inefficiently produced platform. It is actually very efficient, in my opinion, and easy to use. And also too, um, it is good because if you are trying to make something and you want it to have a nice look to it, a good flow to it. This is just, in my opinion, one of the best programs you can get for that. Um, so, I have a lot of good things to say about Rough Animator. So, take that for what it means. So, also, if you're making your own animated film, there's a lot of things you need to kind of be aware of. Organizing the production, the whole process of making getting things finished, getting your animation organized for final color. And, there's just a lot of things that you have to be aware of when you're making a film. And it isn't until a lot of times you get deep in the heart of these things that you start to recognize that, you're going to have this problem, you're going to have that problem. And I like that, like I said, I like this program because it looks like that um, some of these issues that you have were thought through in the building of this particular platform. Um, so like I said, I have a lot of good things to say about Rough Animator. You should be able to, I believe you can get it. It is an Apple product. Primarily, it was made for Apple products as an Apple product. However, it doesn't mean you have to have a Mac to play it on. It will work on any platform. It'll work on a Windows as well as a Mac. So you don't have to have a MacBook or anything to use the program. In fact, I'm doing this on a PC, so you don't have to have a Mac or an Apple to do this. All right, let's see. So, okay, I have my little model sheet off to the side. You all don't see it, but that's how I'm just making sure. Even though I've created the characters myself, I still have to look back at the model sheet that I created to remind myself of like how I drew something. Because you just have to do that. That's the way it goes. Let's see. All right, so they're coming into the frame. I'm not really sure if this is going to be the first frame or not. Let's see. It's just 2 frames right now. But let's see. Let's see. So I'm going to add a frame after here in the middle. Let's see. Well, let's see. I could take, okay, you know what I could do here is like I can take, so there's Lenny. I could take this image here. Okay. So I can copy that, paste it, move it closer, say up this way, maybe tilt it. Let's see. And let's see. I'll change the feet and everything because he's going to have to jump. So probably, let's see, yeah, see, he'd be he'd be down like that, see? And that foot would have had to make contact with the ground. I'd say this foot, this leg and foot would have had to come up. Let's see. So you got, yeah, he'd have to have something maybe like that. Yeah, so probably something like that. So, all right. And then, let's see. Let's see here. Okay. So maybe he's got the other arm is maybe the other hand and stuff maybe is out like this. Right. So what I'm doing now is I'm looking at well, let's see. Okay. All right. All right. Now Miguel is down here. Let's see. We might be able to do. Let's see. Because I was looking at Lenny and Jason, but I think. Okay. So we go copy, bring it into that same frame, paste. So let's say maybe Miguel is up like this. So if I got Miguel up to here, all right, and I erased out how Lenny's hand is going to be over his face. So now, I'd say we'd have to reverse. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So yeah. Right. Okay. So Miguel would have to have he'd have to have the other leg up. So in other words, he would be, okay, this leg would be down. Well, this leg would be up. So this leg that's closest to us here would be off the ground because the other leg is going to be down on the ground. So you'd have that leg there is going to be on the ground, see? Which then means that his arm here would have to be going back. Yeah, exactly. So this arm would be going back, you see. See, where we're anticipating where things are going to be, that arm's going to have to be back. This arm and hand would have to be coming forward. Okay. Okay. Okay, and then I could have Lenny's eyes open more here just to make it different. So yeah, I could have a more open eye here. Then I've got okay, so now with interesting. Let's see. Oh well, here's a thought. I could here's a thought. Let's say I take Jason's head for just this much of it here. I go copy, paste, but I bring it out this way. Let's see. Okay, so let's say I take. All right, so I'm going to erase stuff around this because this is where he's already made contact in this drawing. But I want to kind of get some of that face. So if he's here, let's see. What if I also, let's see, if I were to have his eye here open as he's coming in close. So maybe, yeah. So let's see, maybe he's coming in this way. Let's see. And and then he's got his hand out this way. Just so happens that um, Miguel just happens to be in the way. So so he's bringing his hands out like this over Miguel's head. They're going to have a collision here, obviously. Um, let's see. Could even move that eye a little bit. Let's see. So what if, what if I do that right there? So you see how I'm using pieces of drawings to amalgamate. So let's see. Here we got. This is going to be Jason kind of coming into frame or getting closer. His arms are out, and then you'd even have his other arm out here. Yeah. So, but you can see how I sort of invented that. Let's see. Probably adjust it a little bit there. Um, hmm. So let's see. Um, so this is fun. So let's see. Yeah. Oh yes. Okay. Okay. Well, let's see. I guess then. Well, we can have. Well, you could have that. Okay. You could have this leg come. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah. It's a crazy collision. But I think once I get them, we get them all together. I think that we can cushion the hit. You know. Yeah. Should work. Let's see. I think I'll adjust this nose. Maybe have that. Yeah, something like that. Some of this stuff, because it's moving, they're moving kind of faster. This might, we might be able to kind of cheat some things here. Yeah. Yeah, so there's going to be a little bit of cheating here on sizes and how the action's going to play. What are we doing here? Yeah. Where's Nora? I think Nora would have to jump. She'd have to be kind of. Nora's going to have to be up here somewhere. Let's see. And Nora's got Nora's got to be way up here. She's little, but she can jump. And I would say she'd have to have her arms out too. Yeah, she'd have to be. She's little, but she can get in there. Let's see. When you have things where you have multiple characters and you have a lot going on, you just you put in drawings and you start doing. You're gonna do a lot to try to get everything to work. you know, see, the beauty of digital animation, in my opinion, today is that you can see this as you're developing it and you're playing it in real time, and you can kind of get a sense of how to untangle any type of confusion by seeing it. This is, the animators flip their drawings a lot in the old style of doing things in order for them to get a sense of how something was going to work. And what you're going to do is the same kind of thing. That's what we're doing here. So I'm really happy that I have this scene because this is something that you probably wouldn't normally see someone working on. And you have scenes like this. You have scenes where you have more than one character. Multiple character scenes are difficult. They take a lot more time, and you discover things as you're working on it. So, and you make mistakes, and it's just like anything else. You're going to make mistakes, so you just be prepared for that. You're going to draw. You're going to fix. You're going to change. You might throw things out, start over. I don't intend to do that on this one, but and I think the only reason why I would say that is because I think I have a pretty good idea what's how this is going to play out. Though I'm not going to say that I won't make any mistakes that I may find myself throwing out some parts of the scene, and all of that's good too. And because I would want you to see that, because all of that is a part of how you learn how to work. Because even if you're a seasoned animator, you're still going to find that there's going to be stuff that you didn't count for or count on, and you have to just be prepared to make adjustments as you see that they're needed. So, okay, there you go. All right, folks. Well, hey, I hope you had a great day. I hope you have a great weekend. Of course, I won't see you tomorrow. Today is Friday, and so I take the weekend off, particularly the Sabbath day, which is tomorrow. So have a beautiful weekend, folks. A safe weekend. I hope you also have a very safe Halloween holiday. It is Halloween today, so be careful out there. And I'll see you guys in the next week. And remember, Jesus is Lord.